And good afternoon and good evening, AD2L Conqueror. How are we doing this evening? My name is Benny, and I will be hosting the Conqueror Chronicles, hosted by Dota Roundtable. Joined with me tonight is my fellow co-host Phoenix. How you doing tonight?
You know what, Benny? I'm having a great night. All I'm saying, great night to own a Tesla. Shout out Penix, having a
Oh
great
God,
time.
no, dude. We're starting the controversy early. Speaking of controversial, we've got our technician Yoshi. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
You feeling controversial tonight?
Depending on what we talk about, maybe.
Understandable, understandable. And we are also, I have the pleasure to announce our two guests this evening coming in from EZYOUNGBLOOD. We've got iamdanielsan. Danielsan, how you doing tonight?
Pretty good, pretty good.
And Snowman, the Pos 5 player. We have the whole safe lane from EZYOUNGBLOOD in the house tonight. How are you doing tonight?
Good, man.
Excellent. Glad to hear it. So we have a few topics that we would like to cover tonight, but definitely I think the thing we're all interested to hear is about EZYOUNGBLOOD. They are pretty much the newest addition to the Conqueror list of fixtures. I think as a community, we're not particularly used to seeing brand new five stacks sign up for the league. Personally, I think it's really interesting because it can get a little samey playing against the same people over and over again, season after season. So
Incestuous.
a little bit, yeah. We like to diversify the gene pool a little bit, throw in some new talent. So, Daniel-san, why don't you tell me a little bit about EZYOUNGBLOOD, maybe the history of some of your players, and maybe you could touch a little bit on, if I'm remembering correctly, so you guys are from a community that runs a lot of in-houses. I was curious to see like what the story was behind that and how that sort of came together.
Uh, so yeah, it's kind of a long story-ish. Really how I got involved in the group is I was playing a random Naga game in a pub and they liked what they saw and invited me to the Discord, and that was about 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say. Over time, we've had people like come together in the Discord, and eventually it's grown into numbers to where we've do our own 10 mans in house, and it's grown enough to where we do it pretty much daily every night, or every other night, I would say. So yeah.
Oh, that's actually pretty impressive.
Out of curiosity, actually, really quickly, I know I was messaging Madre Padre a little bit. He was saying, I think a lot of you guys have known each other since Dota 1. Is that right, or is that accurate at all?
That's a question for Snowman. I
Snowman.
started with Dota 2.
Um, so I know a lot of the guys in the Discord know each other in real life. I mean, I know a handful of them are from Jersey. Me and Daniel are
Oh
both on.
God, no, 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 not like this.
Yeah,
Oh, dude.
we're on the West Coast. I'm in Vegas. I think Danielson's in Cali, right?
Yeah, I'm in Cali.
All right, you guys got
Um,
to hook me up with some of the Jersey players.
Are you in Jersey as well?
I am also in the hellscape known as New Jersey. Yeah.
There you go. Maybe it's something in the water over there. It makes you hate yourself, and you just want to fucking queue any game.
Well, you know what's funny? I don't know. I don't think either of you two would be very familiar, but for Yoshi and Phoenix, Vivian is also from New Jersey. We have not had the opportunity to meet up yet, which might actually happen now that we're speaking again, but that's not a topic for the podcast. Anyway, so we heard a little bit about the history of the EZYOUNGBLOOD players in the in-house community. So, Snowman, maybe you could tell us a little bit about what made this particular configuration of players decide to come to AD2L, since it sounds like you guys have a pretty thriving community in this in-house league. And maybe after that, you could tell us how you guys feel your season has gone.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I think so. Oh Young, GG mate, he was the one that kind of put this together. I mean, we've talked about like, a lot of the guys have talked about, hey, we should go do a league or like play in a tournament or something. But GG mate actually pulled the trigger and went signed us up, and um, For the stack of players, I mean, we pretty much just got anyone that was interested within the ranks, because like, we're comfortable playing with anyone in our Discord pretty much. But the roster that we're currently playing with, I wasn't actually even supposed to play. I was gonna be a backup player for, I think, Jeff. I think, but
I
then
think it was Beats.
oh, was it beat? Yeah, it was beat. But then I just stood in for the first series, and then everybody was comfortable and happy with the way it went. So I was like, all right. So yeah, I'm not even really a support player, but for the league, they're like, yeah, you're gonna play support now. So I've just been slamming that in pubs over and over again.
You've been relegated to the support. What do you normally play?
I normally play. I mean, I could play anything. I've been playing this game for like so fucking long that I could play anything if you give me time to like adjust. But I normally play 1 through 3.
Okay, interesting. Well, you
Yeah.
play Bane really fucking good, so I'll tell you that. Your Bane is unreal.
Yeah, I don't even know if you guys knew, but I did not know I could unsleep my teammates or the enemy.
Oh my god!
Like,
Oh no! Oh my god! I'm
yeah,
actually
yeah.
more upset, dude. I'm
Oh,
actually.
that's actually fucking funny.
It took about like 25 minutes before I realized I could do that. Like, because Greg kept shouting at me like, "Dude, unsleep me," and I'm like, trying to click on him, but I didn't realize there's a fucking hotkey that appears that you could just, yeah.
That's amazing. That's it. I was gonna ask about that too, yeah, because just really quickly before you guys talk about how you thought your season went, I believe you guys had 2 roster changes either before week 1 or after week 1. Do you mind elaborating a little bit on what happened there? Was it just like a schedule conflict or?
Yeah, I think it's just like the initial guys that were saying, okay, yeah, we're gonna play, weren't really available, and then we were just the most consistent around. Like, all right, yeah, we could play. Like I said, like I mean, in these last couple of weeks, I think we subbed both the last 2 series. Like
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I
I
think
went,
so. Yeah.
yeah, I went play mid, and then we picked up like 2 supports. So we just whoever could play really, but I mean we try to keep our core stack as much as possible to get the reps in, with the same people. But
So it sounds like it's really just a group of you guys from your in-house league. You're trying to play as a 5-stack. If you can't, you'll just sub out for someone else also that's kind of in this grouping, and you guys are just having a good time together, basically.
yeah, I
Pretty
mean
much.
whoever's like closest in MMR and fits the role that we need to replace the best, I would say.
That's great. That's great. And then, how do you guys feel like your season's gone? Because I mean, obviously, brand new team. You guys have had a pretty successful season, actually. The only reason that you're not top seed above my team is because you guys had a bye week, right? Otherwise, you had the same record as us. So it's been a pretty good season. You've dropped only 3 games. So how do you feel like it's gone for you?
I feel pretty good about it. I mean, I feel like our team probably has some of the more individual skill players in the league. Like we play very good Dota, but our drafting is like there's some glaring problems with the way we approach. But I mean, we kind of have to. I don't want to say too much because I'm not trying to give my opponents strategy here, but
No, please say more.
um,
Actually, please.
but we're working on that. I mean, we know what our issues are, and like we've had lengthy discussions, and we're trying to make some pretty good adjustments for the playoffs. So hopefully,
Fantastic.
we bring some more heat.
Danielson,
Um,
do you have anything to add to that at all?
Uh, no, just that we could be playing a tiebreaker this week, but my friend Snowman here.
Listen,
hey,
guys, I was so excited, okay? Like the deal to get you guys on was that we were gonna scrim. And I wanted to scrim against you guys because when we played our official, I had the packet loss issue. So I was so excited to play against you guys this Thursday, and then you guys can't play. Come on. I'm crying right now, to be honest with you. I'm actually crying. So
yeah, that was kind of a me and Ray decision. I mean, we think you guys are probably our top opponents in this league. I mean, stat wise and just the way you guys play. So we think it's more detrimental for us to play you. Like the more reps you have against us, we feel like it's going to be worse.
Oh,
So
it was a tactical thing. I
yeah,
see. Okay, I
yeah.
thought it was a scheduling thing.
No, I mean,
That's what GG mate said. Okay, so it's a tactical choice.
well, I don't know.
Okay.
It could be. I mean, I personally said I think we shouldn't play them. I think it's better to keep them in the dark as much as possible, and then they could find out at a BO3. You know.
I would agree with that, by the way. I do agree. I think that if you think someone's your biggest competition, I don't think you should practice against them. I think that's giving us information. So I
I
think
would agree with
your
that.
thought. Yeah, I think that's correct. I think that's the right choice to make.
So, kind of a hallmark of playing an AD2L is that at some point you're going to get embroiled in drama. Now, obviously, there's been a little bit of contention in the chat about legitimacy of accounts and potential smurfing allegations and all this other stuff. And I don't want to put you guys on the hot seat for too long about it. So I just wanted to ask you a couple quick questions.
Are you
So,
guys smurfing or not? That's what we want to know. Get down to the point, Benny.
That's what-
Are you
that's what
guys
everyone wants to
smurfing
know.
or not?
All right?
Answer the question.
Listen,
Well-
people are smelling fish, okay, from a while away, and they want to know if it's their partners or if it's you. Okay, so do you want to?
Well, who does the community think that is smurfing on our team? Me?
So okay, so in the are you guys in the AD2L Discord at all or no?
Some of them
It's
are.
probably better if you're not, in all honesty.
It
Yeah,
is
it's-
also definitely
it's
better
probably
if you're
better.
Like,
not
if
in
you
it.
are in
I
it, do
joined
not
the
be
other
afraid to
day.
leave after the season's over. Like, you are good.
I'm
So
in it, but
basically,
there's like,
there's one person in there that's like really likes to like investigate people, especially if he thinks something's fishy, and he's adamant that he has some dirt on you guys, that like you guys are like not legit. So that's
no.
basically what we're referring to.
No, we've heard this. We've heard that there are like smurfing allegations. I said after my Husker play last week, I think that should be
saw
put to
that.
rest, honestly. But I mean, I don't even know what the allegations are. Like, just our team in general, all of us, or
So I will say, as someone who isn't necessarily, convinced that there is anything going on, the thing. So you guys wouldn't know because you're newer, but a bit of a part of my reputation in the community is that I like to do a lot of homework about teams when we're playing them. So I tend to notice like, weird abnormalities or whatever, not necessarily in like a Smurf way, but like I go and I check like Dota buff win rates. I check like how often you're playing certain heroes, how recently you've played certain heroes, and all that sort of stuff. And so when I did some homework on like your guys' accounts, the main thing I noticed wasn't necessarily that I thought it was suspicious. I was mostly just impressed with like the win rates, because like I know GG Mate, Madre Padre, whatever the fuck his main account's name is, he's got, this is 1,200 games on this account and a 54% win rate. Like that's pretty good. Like, not, I wouldn't necessarily see that and be like, okay, this guy's smurfing, because like, Dota 1 is a thing, and like I know this isn't his only account, so games get spread out and all that other shit. But like he has like a 70% win rate just about on a hero that he's got like 70 games on. So like it's not suspicious or anything, but it's like, damn, like that's pretty impressive. So for me, like I noticed a lot of not a lot, but like some of you, like Danielsan, like you play like I don't know, like 3 or 4 games a week or something, at least for the past like few months, but you still have like a really impressive win rate for the past couple months. And more so like you're maintaining your rank, which I think is like actually pretty difficult to do if you're not like playing a ton of Dota. So like that's the kind of stuff that I notice that makes me, like I said, impressed, not necessarily suspicious.
do our
this
do
is-
do practice
oh.
matches show up on there? Sorry, I didn't.
Yeah.
No.
This is-
So
No, they
so
don't.
that is, so yeah, so part of the caveat to this, especially now having the information that you guys play a ton of in-houses, like that does make a lot of sense. You guys are playing a ton of quote unquote off the books Dota that like the community at large can't see, because obviously, they're not ticketed or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But like even so, like pub Dota and in-house Dota are like two different things. You like you would expect if someone is like let's say you're someone who only plays in-houses and like doesn't play any pubs, you would expect if that person start playing pubs, they probably wouldn't have as good of a win rate because like in-houses there are a lot fewer variables. You're playing with and against the same like players week after week. So but for all the in-houses you guys play, like you still have really impressive pub win rates, which I think is cool.
Well, from my understanding too, like just from like a little bit, like what once again a little bit of what like GG mate told me is that I think you guys have some really high ranked players in these in-houses, right? Like 7-8K. Is that true?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
we have maybe about 4 or 5 immortals now.
Damn.
But yeah,
Okay,
more
yeah,
some of
yeah.
them are some of them.
more than that. I think.
Well,
Yeah,
Snowman, you
Yeah,
like just
yeah,
hit
maybe
that's
more.
Immortal, didn't you?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and
I'm
like
technically
just
Divine 5 right now, but yeah, I hit
Well,
it like.
yeah, same
just
shit.
for the record, by the way, like I don't also think you're smurfing. It's more so just like like does it feel shitty knowing that people might think that something is suspicious? Like, is that something that's like
No,
like
no,
bothers you, or is this like something that like
no,
fuels you?
we knew. I mean, like we make jokes about. So GG Mate's account, he has no profile picture, he has no skins, because that's not his only account.
Yeah.
But his other account is, I think, lower ranked than this one.
I'd
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to check.
It's
Hold on.
GG Mate and Madre Padre, I want to say.
Yeah,
Was
Yeah,
another
Madre
yeah,
account.
Padre.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I was confused about the name because I don't know
It-
what the fuck I'm supposed to call him.
It's funny because his Madre Padre account was his original account, and then he made the Smurf and ended up just playing the Smurf like his regular account. So
Yeah,
that's
that
why
was the
it looks
impression.
that
That was the
way.
impression I had.
So like his Smurf account is like his main account now. It
Yeah,
doesn't
I
really
don't know.
make
I
sense,
don't know why. I don't know why he plays on that one, to be honest. But
but
we knew that looked sus as fuck, and we knew. I mean, we're like, dude, you're getting target banned super hard because everybody thinks you're smurfing. Like we knew that. That was like that was something we joked about before we even started playing the league because his account just looks like, I mean, look at it. You're looking at it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Oh Young. This is Oh Young. He actually gets to practice the least out of everyone. His wife's pretty aggro about his Dota habits, so like
he
basically,
gets 2 times a week pretty much.
yeah, like the league is like when he's practicing. Like he gets a couple games here and there, and the league games, and that's like it. So we're pretty happy with, we've been trying to get him to practice a few more heroes because, teams are like, oh, like I don't know if you guys ban all this shit because he plays like, he's a specialist on a few heroes, or if you ban all this shit because you think he's a Smurf and you need to, but we know that a lot of teams do like to target ban him a lot.
Well, it looks like his wife's on vacation this last week.
He's been getting some good time in this past week for sure. But we've been on his ass about like, hey man, like you need to practice some more shit because coming playoffs, we can't have like the same few heroes that everybody's figured out. Like, you know what I mean? It's
Wait, just the pause. Just for, Yoshi, you are getting my DMs, right? Like you
I
are
am.
actually streaming on Twitch.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this being corrected or
Wait, what?
you're streaming on Twitch right now?
I am.
Yes, like
Oh, well,
you're
we'll post that
streaming on
recording.
Twitch.
Uh,
Holy fuck, production value, guys! Like just production value here. Only the finest.
just girly
It's okay.
things.
I'll just post it afterwards. It's okay.
we have some
Uh,
people that wanted to watch if you're streaming. I'll send them.
Yeah, well, we're
Yeah, there we
streaming,
go, we're
brother. I mean,
streaming.
fucking, like, we're streaming. So yeah, if you want to fucking watch it
It's
right
okay.
now, I don't
I
need
still
a
get the
link.
file anyways, so it's okay.
Yeah, here. I'll actually give you I'll give you the live stream right now, guys, just so you know. We normally don't do this live, so I'm sorry. We we
it to
said
the
it wasn't
right
live, but it
account?
is live. Yeah, it's going to Coach Yoshi.
Oh,
So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
I put it in the chat if you guys have people that want to watch along. But I
For,
appreciate you guys answering that though, because like I said, I know it's like a little bit of like a hot seat question, but it sounds like you guys are taking it in good stride though. It doesn't seem like you guys are upset about it or anything like that. You guys just kind of rocket through it. I mean, for me, like if I was getting smurfing allegations, I feel like that would like inflate my ego. I'd be like, yeah, dude, I'm so fucking good. People think I'm smurfing, bro. Like, I think I'd love that actually, but that's cool.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
I mean, I don't want to like piss people off since we're new here. Like we definitely don't want people to think that. Like yeah, it's cool, I guess. Like, hey, get dunked on. You know, we're not smurfing, uh, but at the same time, I mean, like, hopefully over time, people understand that that's not what's going on.
I will say that kind of leads into my next question a little bit. So, does all this like controversy and hot seat shit like does it affect how you guys view the AD2L community, or is it just kind of like whatever?
I don't give a
Like
shit. I don't
it's
know about you.
whatever. It's I mean valid to think that without knowing us, so I don't really mind.
Fair enough, fair enough. And a little bit of a unrelated to those topics, but something I want to ask before we start getting into some other topics. You mentioned earlier how you consider North American Partnership (NAP) to be like your equal based on the stats and all that other stuff. How do you rate your team against the other teams in the league currently? Like, do you guys? I don't know how active the whole team is in like the AD2L stuff, like paying attention to other teams and stuff. But I'm curious to know how you guys sort of compare your team to the other teams in this league. You don't have to give me like a tier list or anything, but just like how you guys think about that.
Daniel, you want to take that one or?
Um, I mean honestly, I feel like we don't necessarily approach the game any differently versus any team. It's more so we're gonna do what we want to do and
Yeah,
take it from
I,
there. That's
I was gonna say the same thing. Like, it's
Well, I more so mean like not necessarily from like a gameplay perspective, but from like a meta perspective or whatever. Like, do you guys ever like compare your team against like how other teams do, like in terms of skill or whatever, or not really?
um I,
um
I don't I want to say that we don't really do that to my knowledge.
Okay.
But
yeah, like
I don't recall.
we don't yeah we don't really give that much a shit about other teams. Like Daniel said, like we pretty much know what we don't like to play against. We know what we're good at, and we know like our strategies. So we'll do, I mean, we'll look into teams a little bit, and like you know, we're not gonna let you set up things that we know you like to set up for free and shit like that. But in terms of like us saying like, okay, where are we at compared to these guys? We don't really do that. We don't really think about that. I think we know NAP is like probably our toughest opponent. I couldn't even tell you the other teams really too much. Like I think any team can take games off of us. I think if we play our best and we don't shit the bed at our draft, which we do a lot. Like you know, like we said that we have like a lot of high MMR players that we in-house with, and every time we're done playing a match, you know, we'll go down to our own little private lock channel and like lock in and do our drafts and shit. And they all like, even when we 2-0, they just rag on our drafts so fucking hard. And we know they suck. We know they suck. You know, but we don't care most of the time. Like it doesn't really matter to us if we're getting out drafted. We know what we like to do, and we know what we don't want to play against, and we can win the game that way. And hopefully, as we develop a little bit before playoffs, you know, our drafts will look a little cleaner. But we don't really know. I wouldn't say we're not really like doing any dick measuring or anything like that. Like
Okay.
we take the game serious. We're not gonna. I mean that Husker game is pretty troll, but for the most part, we take the game pretty serious.
Um, so then one, I guess, selfish question before we move on to the next topic. I'm curious to know what you guys thought about my team, because, like I said, I heard you discuss a little bit before how you feel about NAP, but I'm curious to know how you guys felt about our series.
Can you pull it up?
He plays on Savage
Yeah,
Spirits,
I
by
play
the
on
way.
Savage Spirits. Yeah,
Yeah,
that would have been
just pull
helpful
it
for
up.
me to
Here.
say. Where is this series? This one right here. This series was contentious for me because the Brood pick in game 2 pissed me off. But other than that,
Oh yeah,
um
this is the one where this is the series I'll say that we realized we don't ever want to fucking play against Tiny again. And this is actually a really pivotal series. This was a pivotal series for us. It taught us a lot of things that we need to change, and we did. If you notice after this series, we don't let Ty go through. We don't let Tiny go through. I mean, I'm not gonna say
Interesting.
I'm not gonna say too much into like what we learned from this series, but this was a good series for us.
This does make me feel good. I like knowing that I broke you guys on Tiny.
Tiny's a fucking obnoxious hero right now.
Oh god, I love it so much.
Tiny is obnoxious. Absolutely.
All right, so I think we can move into the next topic. So before we get into series reviews, we wanted to discuss, since it's been a little while since the last podcast, we have not actually had an opportunity to discuss the new patch, that being 7.38 and 7.38b. We've got a whole host of changes that we can briefly touch on here. There's the new map changes. So we've got all of the fun new river mechanics. We've got the new river creep camps that are weird polywog frog fucking things.
The Ravage
We
creeps,
have
dude.
the ravage creeps that I hate. We have the new wisdom shrines. We have the new tormentor locations. We have the new roche pit locations. Moving on in terms of mechanics, we've got the neutral items, the neutral crafting, the Madstone collection, the enchantment versus artifact system. There were some quality of life changes that we don't really need to worry about. There was the universal hero adjustment, the fact that some heroes got moved to be universal heroes, some heroes got moved to their original stat. There is a little bit of a lifesteal change, which as a carry player makes me want to cry. And then you just start getting into all of the item and hero changes. In terms of items, I think the highlights are the halberd rework. I think that the advent of Orb of Frost and the corrosion rework is a pretty big deal. There's the Gleipnir rework and the Revenant's Brooch, which has tapered off a little bit, but at the beginning of the patch with some of the bugged interactions was a pretty big deal. And then in terms of hero changes, obviously we're not going to touch on all of them, but we saw the likes of Abaddon, we saw the likes of Bloodseeker, we saw the likes of Bristleback, things getting nerfed. We saw a lot of different heroes getting buffed. We saw Clinks, we saw Tiny, we saw Darkseer kind of getting buffed with the new innate. We saw changes to a bunch of different heroes. We've got this new core Dazzle build. We had the infamous DK rework, which has since been changed. Like I said, I'm not going to go through everything because I've talked for way too long at this point. But what did we pretty much?
almost everything. Almost
Why
everything.
don't we start with the map changes? How are we feeling about the new map?
I like it.
I'm in love with it, honestly. I'm still getting used to some of the changes, but I really enjoy the movement speed and the river mechanic. And I am really enjoying the new Roche Pit locations. I think those are my two biggest highlights for me. Phoenix, how are you feeling about the new map?
I don't know. Like I've said this, I think on other episodes we've done. For me, like I actually think my least favorite thing is the map changes. I really don't like the map changes because I get so used to how things are set up, and I really don't like when they get changed a lot. That's like a really selfish thing. Um, but I do like for example, I think the lotuses are just better. I think that the wisdom shrines are just better. I think it setups for more interesting fights. I think it's just better than it was, 100%. I really like the idea of the Tormentor as well. I think it's really cool that in a lot of like these pro matches and even like like AD2L, like I think you really kind of get these really interesting setups for fights, right? Where it's like if two teams feel like they're relatively strong, okay, you're probably going to meet up a Tormentor at minute 15. There's probably going to be a fight there. Team that wins that gets the Tormentor. I feel like it's really interesting. The only downside is that I feel like it can be a little snowbally. I feel like a lot of my pubs have been very snowbally. because the team that kind of pulls ahead in the lane stage, I feel like they can kind of snowball that into a Tormentor, into 3k net up, into the Shard, into the, and I feel like it can be a little bit snowbally for my liking, but I do think it is also fun. So yeah, I would say, even though I don't like map changes a ton, I think this one's not too bad, actually. What about you, Danielson? Do you like the map changes?
Yeah, I like them. I'm pretty much the same boat as you. It's just a matter of getting used to how to play this map and getting the reps in, really. But as of right now, I really like it.
As a fellow carry player, how do you feel about like the new outer jungles and the advent of this like move speed mechanic? Do you find it's like affecting your farming patterns at all, or like changing the way that you move around the map from camp to camp? Or
It does change it a little bit. It kind of depends on what heroes I'm playing. Sometimes you can get away with stacking that ancient camp and that, I don't know, it's a small camp in the river, the little
yeah,
polywags. But it definitely does change like the farming patterns. I'm still figuring out what I like. Um, but for the most part, I still think the farming patterns are similar. Um, at least the same farming patterns that I will hit. But yeah, I really like the ancient change beneath the tier 1 towers.
yeah, I think it's a really convenient change for carry heroes that like to take ancients early. So like the Svens of the world, Luna, Medusa. I think it's a pretty
Luna, what hero
interesting.
is that, dude?
Uh, someday Luna will be balanced, but today is not that day.
What do you think, Yoshi?
Um,
I haven't heard from you in a bit.
About
do you think
what, the map or Luna?
The map.
I
The map.
wish the rivers coming into like the bottom and top of the map, I wish they actually connected to the middle of the map. I hate that they just kind of hit like high ground again and it's like 10 steps and then back into like mid river. I wish it like all connected, since like the entire theme of this map change was just adding a shit ton of water. I wish they just connected the one massive
That's
river.
fair. That's fair. Actually, you know what? Really quickly before we go on to neutral items too, I will say something else that also annoys me that I've noticed a lot is I feel like there's so much fucking high ground now. Like
oh
these
yeah,
spots
absolutely,
where
without
like
a
there's
doubt.
just like high ground niche spots that are like there's just people there in the high ground. I feel like it's all over the place. I really don't like it, and I feel like warding is challenging combined with the fact that there's so much high ground. I feel like it's like every time I go up anything high ground, I'm just trusting or hoping that no one's there. And it's so disappointing to me because I'm usually always wrong. And
Take
then
your
I
watchers,
die.
man. Take your watchers.
You gotta
Take
take
your
your watchers.
watchers,
You gotta
definitely a
take your
big deal.
watchers. Absolutely.
I will say I don't want to spend too long on this because this topic has been kind of discussed quite a bit in the community already. But what do you guys think of the new neutral items? Do you like it? Do you think that it's like a natural evolution of the sort of convenience, how neutrals have been going so far? Do you not like it? Do you think it's broken? And then we can move on.
Well, you got to start with somebody there, Benny.
Fair enough. Snowman, what do you think?
I think it's okay. Like, you kind of have the similar problem in normals. Like, there's some neutrals that are like nobody fucking wants. There's some that you're always happy to see. I think the enchantment mixing and matching is cool. There's a lot of times I find myself like sticking with a lower tier because I just want the cast range. Like, that's all I give a fuck about. I don't care if you're gonna give me, a slightly better neutral. I just want cast range, or I just want spell damage. It's kind of cool to be able to mix and match stuff like that. I don't know. I think it gives them a little bit more room with what they could do with them. I think they're fine. I guess I would say I rather this system than the last one for sure.
I agree. I also personally I find myself being upset less often with my
Definitely.
options. I think that a limitation of the prior neutral system was that having only 5 options meant that you were pretty often getting shafted if you were missing like one good choice. Whereas with the new neutral system, you kind of have what's 3 times? It's 15 opportunities to get something good, if that makes sense. Because like
Yeah,
you
because
can get
if the
you can get a
neutral
good
sucks,
item. Yeah, you can get like a good item, but like an okay enchantment, or you can get like a
yeah,
good enchantment, but like an okay item. Whereas before, like if you got a bad item, like you were just fucked. So like now it feels like there's less opportunity for you to get like completely screwed out of having something usable.
yeah,
Definitely.
I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think I've said before, like, so I won't talk too much on it, but I've said before I actually kind of preferred the old system because I'm a masochist. I don't know. I just like the fact that like you'd have these like super like insane neutral items before that were like really high impact, and sometimes you just got screwed because the sniper got a grove bow, and it's just unfortunate because now he could shoot you from like the entire screen distance away. I liked that for some reason. I don't know why. I'm not sure, but I just feel like the neutral item change now. It's like I feel like 85% of the actual neutral items are just dog shit. Like I could just do without them. I don't know. They're like really
Yeah.
bad. Like I think the only tier 1 neutral item I'm happy to see, from like an offlaner's perspective, is like mana drought. Like I
Yeah.
really like
It's
mana drought,
the
and
same
then
one
it's like
everybody's happy to see. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then like if you get like a nice enchantment on it, like that's kind of cool. But like I don't know, I preferred the old system. I think I'm in the minority, but Danielson, do you have anything to add on that topic, the neutral?
I prefer the old system too. I would say the only saving grace of the new system for me is the enchantments, but I just feel like the neutrals are pretty lame too. Basically piggybacking on what you said, that's pretty much it.
I, I will say it feels it always feels good when I'm on playing support. It doesn't always feel good when I'm on a core. So maybe that's the disconnect here, but it feels really fucking good to be able to get stuff that just constantly juices my mana, it gives me more range or more damage or whatever the fuck you need, you know. But when I am playing core, it does feel often like I'm like, which one of these do I even want? Like, you know, it's either you get
Yeah.
exactly what you want or you're like, I don't even really care.
Well, support players also famously like didn't get neutral items for a good chunk of the time up until like a year or two ago, right? Because there
This
were
is
only
our
like four
time.
neutral. There were only like four neutral items for the longest time. So like one person on the team would always be like a neutral item tier behind. So support players are just continuing to move on up the neutral item social ladder.
They're moving up. They're moving up. Yoshi, what do you think about neutrals really quick? You like it?
I'm in the same boat. I think it's definitely geared towards support more because I'm in the same boat whenever I'm playing support. I feel like I have like five different choices where when I'm playing core I'm like I guess I'm gonna pick this one. Um so I feel like supports definitely kind of have it good right now with the neutral system. But overall, old system had better items in general.
So, in the interest of time, I want to do some quick lightning rounds on items and heroes before we move into the series review section. So, starting with Daniel-san, what is your favorite item change from these past two patches?
Ooh, I'm not too sure really. I haven't necessarily played enough to have a honest read for one item. One thing that I really thought was interesting though is the kinda change. I don't really like it at all, but I kind of like the idea of having an extra break, but I don't see where it gets used at. But I thought that one was very interesting. It
I think it's
killed.
got to be like super specific, right? Like I was theory crafting like if you're playing like Zeus against PA or something, and you want to like break or blur or some bullshit. I don't know, but yeah.
Yoshi,
Mm,
what's your favorite item?
Oh, I don't know. Freaking let's go
Favorite
with
item change, I guess I should say.
um probably corrosion, honestly, because I feel like you only picked it up last like patch if you were like ahead, but now it feels like you can kind of grab it at any point, especially because the agility and it just constantly slows. Like even if you're behind, you can kind of still grab it and kind of recover. But you really only saw it last patch if you were like ahead and it was like a fighting lane. Like if it was a farming lane and you were ahead, you weren't grabbing it. You were only grabbing it if you were fighting.
Snowman, give me an item change.
Definitely halberd. I mean, like I like halberd, but it was kind of like, I mean, with the Vanguard build up, it feels really good on certain offlaners. And so like
Yeah.
you find yourself building it, even though it's not like, oh, this is an amazing halberd game, but it's like an okay halberd game. But the build up and the item is just good, so you could still get it, and that's kind of good.
Phoenix, hit me with an item change.
I would say it's either a cross between Glepnir or Corrosion as well. I like Corrosion. A lot of the offlaners I like to play naturally build Corrosion. I think it feels really nice. I think Glepnir is really interesting. I think that it's much more of a support item, but also certain mids really like having the Glepnir, right? Like that AoE root with the AoE increase on spells, really good for like Invoker or Lesh. I think it could be really quirky, and yeah, I like both those items a lot.
I think my favorite item change of the patch is going to be Mage Slayer. I think it's really funny how when Mage Slayer was first introduced a couple years ago, it was like I think it was seen as like underwhelming or like not particularly good. But now the item is kind of in a place where it's like it's good every patch. It really just depends on how they've reworked the recipe to like what heroes actually want to pick it up. But for the most part, I think like a similar sort of like category of hero is always going to pick it up, which makes it a pretty interesting item. Then real quick, we're going to move into hero changes. Phoenix, hit me with your favorite hero change from the last patch.
Abaddon.
Oh, fuck
Abaddon.
you.
Abaddon is amazing right now, guys. Oh my god. Even with the B patch, not nerfed enough. In my opinion, I think this is the hero of the patch. Absolutely. I think the hero is disgusting right now. I think it's not great support. I think it's the best core in the game. 100%. I think it can still go 1. I think it can still go 3. I think it's the best hero.
I'm thinking your strats right now, man.
You just have to look at my Dota buff and see that I've played it like a million times, and I think I have a 75% win rate in like 80 games or something. It's bad. Yeah, like I don't know. It's banned
Remember,
against me all the
kids.
time.
Remember, kids. Ban Abaddon against NAP.
Yeah, like there's really nothing that could happen now. I don't think I'm ever gonna get it for the rest of the season, so I don't really care if I leak anything. Doesn't matter. But yeah, in my opinion, hero of the patch. I think it's easily the best hero change right now. A close shout out would be Night Stalker. I think Night Stalker is very good right now. Very, very good.
Snowman, hit me with your favorite hero change.
I'm probably gonna have to go with Jakiro just because that's primarily what got me to
Oh,
Immortal,
God.
I would say. That double ice pass is just super busted, and as a support player, it feels like I don't know, it's just like oppressive as hell. Either that or maybe I'm really fucking with Shaman right now. I like the chicken fingers.
Why did they
like-
bring back Prince's Knife? That item was
Oh,
so
the
busted
chicken
and
fingers is good though. Yeah, I definitely fuck with that. It's annoying as fuck when I'm trying to trade with like the pause 5 and I just get fucking chicken fingered, dude. God damn.
yeah.
this just in, Phoenix hates getting fingered. Yoshi, hit me with your favorite hero change.
Pudge.
Oh, God. You
Pudge.
guys like degen heroes. Why
I
the
don't
fuck
need
do
to
record
explain
with
it.
you?
It's just Pudge.
Danielson, which one is your favorite? What's your favorite hero change?
I gotta say Broodmother. I only got to try it out once, but the necrotic webs was interesting in the agility change.
Oh yeah, it's really good. It really reduced the healing a lot. Yeah.
And I guess that leaves me for favorite hero change.
It's okay. Nobody asked Benny.
I asked Benny. I asked.
Honestly, I think it's got to be Monkey, and that should not be surprising to anyone who's been paying attention to the pubs I've been playing. Although, funny enough, I actually have not been picking the Simeon Stride facet. Although, having watched a couple of replays, I might actually go back to trying it, even though I think
It's so
Wukong's
good.
Faithful. I think Wukong's Faithful is just it. It sounds like the kind of thing that's really narrow and doesn't come up that often, but I actually think it's extremely useful.
I think with the map changes though, like and how like vision is so important. Like that's the reason that Night Stalker's so good, right? Like I think
Yeah.
Simeon Stride is really good. Even if you're a core, I think it's really value because you get so much of that vision across the map, especially if you take the tree dance downs. But I think both are good. I think so.
Okay, so let's move on to the series review portion of the show. So we're going to start out with Triple S versus where the fuck is the series?
MHK, I think they played, right?
Yeah, MHK versus Triple S. So this was a 2-0 in favor of the Skeletons, which let me pull up the tournament page.
On the
I
plus side, I
believe.
think we could probably move. On the plus side, I think this one could probably be quicker because I think that was like the result that everyone expected. No offense, obviously. I like a lot of
Yeah,
MHK, but I think that was like pretty universally agreed upon that that was going to be a 2-0 for Spooky Scary. The only thing to mention,
there
I
were these
think,
close games though.
they were close. Yeah, they were close. I think the first game was close, right? And the second one wasn't that close. I think, if I
No,
remember correctly.
the second
Oh, it was the
game,
opposite. The opposite.
nah, second game doesn't look that. Wait, Twubs is playing mid now? What the
Yeah,
fuck?
yeah. That's the only thing I think that's relevant to maybe talk about is that MHK did do. They changed out their pos 5. Caracola left. They got Lost Person in, which is a huge
Oh,
upgrade.
this is complete news to me. I had no idea this
Yeah, and
happened.
then Twubs is now playing mid, and Ranger is now playing the pos 4. So I think that's
Like you
good
said,
change
seems
for
like an
them.
upgrade.
It's definitely an upgrade on the pos 5 angle, and then I think Twubs, like I like Ranger. I had a lot of fun playing with him. I think he was probably one of the lower impact mids of the division, so I think having him change out the 4 so that Twubs can take mid is probably a pretty good idea. But I think this was largely the result that most people expected. Honestly, I'm not
Okay.
sure. I know that you guys are newer to the league. Do you guys have any opinions on the series or even the teams that we mentioned, even Skeletons or MHK?
I remember Twubs. I think I was subbing for offlane, and I gotta play his monkey against my I don't even remember, maybe Seer. And he won the lane really hard, but then they just didn't do anything with it. Like he was like firmly ahead of us. But they just kind of like took off the pedal off the gas and disappeared, and then we just farmed a bit and then just smashed the shit out of him. But Twubs is a good player. I know him. I know his name. Um, but yeah, other than Twubs, I didn't really, I wasn't really that impressed.
Okay, that's that. To be honest, that's a pretty fair sentiment with MHKFC. Once
Daniel,
again,
son, you got
no
anything
offense.
to say about Triple S?
Um, Not necessarily. I don't recall very much. Nor did I keep up with the other series all that much either.
Fair enough. Moving on, we can talk about your guys' series versus Chewy Gang.
Okay.
I know we discussed already some of the questionable hero choices or something to that effect. And the use of stand-ins and such, obviously. So, how did you feel about this series?
It was kind of a wash. I mean, yeah, like we're playing with both of our supports are stand-ins. I was playing middle, which so I like played like 2 days of middle to warm up. And basically, I was like, if we could get me OD, I think it's going to be easy game. I think these guys are just going to be lower rated, and I'm going to be able to just take the game over on OD, which happened pretty easily. And then game 2, I was like, hey, they picked OD, and I got my ass beat by a Husker like yesterday. It was like really bad. So I was like, give me Husker, and that was the first time I picked Husker on this account. I haven't played Husker since like neutral items were in the game and like talents. I don't whichever one was like older. It was bad. I mean,
It didn't go good. Okay.
even with I mean honestly the draft was pretty cooked. Like we had no way to jump with like up to the last pick. Even if we picked like me and Ember or something, I think we had zero way to fight. So it's like the game was just cooked. But uh, the Husker just made it look a little worse probably.
Isn't Huskar like isn't OD like OD Jesus Christ. Isn't OD one of Huskar's biggest counters in lane?
Look.
Phoenix
No.
at
Oh
Ignite.
no,
No, it's not. It's not at all. No, that used to be a classical counter to OD, actually. The Huskar. It's kind of the same logic as Razor. If OD goes into Astral, you get the link off, or if you're Huskar, you get the flaming spears off. So you can spear him like
Okay.
2 or 3 times before you Astrals. It's not a bad lane counter, actually. I think probably, like Snowman said, it's probably just a little bit of like not fully comfortable probably with the hero, not fully comfortable with the matchup. It happens, and like you said, I mean, double standing against double standing, that's just a tough situation, right?
Yeah.
Like
I thought
I-
it was the
Hey,
other way around.
it
but-
does say middle one on there, right?
It
There you go.
does. It
There
you go.
does.
there
I
you
mean,
go.
he
There
doesn't
you go.
have mana. He doesn't have mana, so like he doesn't really give a fuck about you prisoning, and he'll just run you down with spears, and then you have to just get zoned. But then OD could just kind of dunk me in like 3 hits later in the game, and
Doesn't
That's
yeah.
the problem, right?
Isn't
That's
it?
the
Isn't
problem.
it? Doesn't OD treat Huskar's health pool as mana for the purposes of like calculating the difference for the ult or something like that? Is
I
that how
have
that
no
works?
idea. We thought it was just base damage, but I have no idea, to be honest.
Hmm. Yeah,
Do you have
I'm gonna
anything to
go
add,
with
Danielson, at
no.
all? Do you have anything to add?
No, just that when he suggested the Huskar, I was assuming he had some games on it. He came out with no badge into that game.
he came, he
Like, I
came out
mean,
with
dude,
nothing, dude. He just
that's what
raw
I'm
dogging the
saying.
Huskar.
If y'all think we're smurfing, I mean, like, look at this shit. You know, that was fucking ugly. Like,
8-9.
I'm not afraid to play heroes I haven't played in like years. Huskar's probably not a good one to do that on. Like,
Probably not.
no,
I think this.
Why not?
I don't know. I don't know anything about
Ulti?
Huskar. I don't know anything about Huskar, but isn't the skill build like dog shit?
No, I think it's okay. I think a value point in Q is not bad though, but I think that's
I thought
fine.
you were supposed to go like QWE into like max your E, and then you take the ult at 6.
Well, I definitely
Uh,
misskill not taking the ult at 6. But I just had
oh, I didn't even notice that. What the fuck?
This is a Dota 2 Pro tracker, just me on my right monitor scaling.
That's fair. That's fair.
Oh my
Listen,
god.
listen. Not all of us can be Hexy, okay? That guy's a
Oh god.
Huskar god. Anyway, so for next series, what's the next one we got?
So
Rock,
briefly, actually, we had an intermission topic, just a really quick discussion. So this happened like a couple weeks ago, but as mentioned, we have not recorded the podcast in a little while. So we actually had a team drop from the division with Slug Bears, who for some reason has 4 wins. I don't think that's
that
correct.
was just that's not correct. Yeah,
I think that just has to do. I think that just has to do with
how they
them
dropped.
getting
Yeah,
like switched off, or like how they dropped. Because otherwise, they only had one legitimate win and then one bye win. They lost every other game that they played. Did anyone have any opinions about this other than the fact that there's no bye week now?
I feel like this is really simple answer to this, in my opinion. I think that it's weird to disband the last week, especially because they were only 1 win behind MHK. MHK was against Skeletons, which was one of the better teams in the league. They were most likely to get 2-0'd, which they did. If Slugbears took a single win off of who they were going to play, they would have had lower bracket ties, or like tiebreakers. I think it's really weird to disband in like the last week. I don't really get that, but I mean, on the plus side, at least everyone got to play last week, so that was kind of cool.
Well, look
So-
at like the teams they did play. So they played Crownfall, they played Grin Scythe, they played MHK, they played Triple S, and they forfeited to Chewy. So they would have had to have played against either us, EZYOUNGBLOOD, or NAP. I think.
Yeah, but I mean,
right?
like, but yeah.
So like
okay,
they
thing
were gonna
is-
get 2-0'd. Like
right, but you're also factoring in the fact that they forfeited against Chewy Gang, and Chewy Gang hasn't looked very good. I
Chewy
think
Gang hasn't. No, I mean there's 7 wins. They're
no,
ahead of
they
Grin
look
Scythe.
no. Listen, all I'm saying is that when we played Chewy Gang, it was the easiest series we played, like overall. I think we beat them in both games in under 25 minutes. Like we destroyed them. It wasn't even close. It was really bad. I think they could have taken at least a game off of Chewy. I don't know. I could be wrong.
It's
I could be wrong.
possible, but I think the problem is like even if they did, I mean, like you said, like MHK got 2-0'd, so like it would have been even or whatever the fuck. But like, uh, there was no way that they were realistically going to do anything after taking a win off, and then like what, like you play a tiebreaker and then you fucking miss playoffs anyway. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's fine to disband. Like it's fine. It's not like it's a problem. I just think it kind of sucks to disband the last week. But I mean, like I said, at least we all got to play. There's no bye week, so it's not a big deal. But hopefully they still had a fine season. I don't know. It sucks to. It does suck to like never win. Essentially, like they like
Yes, I
hardly
would
ever
agree with
won.
that.
Like that does suck. So you know, I feel bad for them in that way. But yeah. I don't know if anyone else has anything to add to that really, but
All right, so then we can move on to Crownfall Fishing Club versus NAP, and I'm really interested to hear what your excuse is for this, Phoenix, because this is not a matchup that I would have expected to be at all contentious. But this first game, hour and 1 minute, what happened here?
yeah, I don't know. It's a bit of a shocker too, honestly to me. I know that leading into this we really wanted the 2-0 because we really wanted to pick our opponent. So we definitely wanted to get the 2-0. We also tied a couple teams in a row, so 2-0 would have been nice. I don't know. I think that this tiny hero, kind of like what Snowman was talking about, fuck
It
this
looks like
tiny
you got
hero.
shat on, dude.
Yeah, the tiny hero was fucking obnoxious, man. It was ridiculous. I'd never want to play against that shit again, dude. He had like 2k HP at like fucking
Yep,
like 8. It was ridiculous. Like
yep.
I don't know. It's really tough. I think we definitely misplayed the early game. I think our draft was fine. I think we misplayed, but if anything, I think this is a testament to the fact that we are very PMA. We have a great time when we play each other. At one point, we were down 14-4 this game. Like it looked really bad. Like I think they were up at least 15k at one point. It was
They were
pretty.
up
It was
12K at the highest point.
yeah. It was pretty bad. It looked pretty bad at one point, but we were pretty PMA. We were like, it's fine. They really team fight. It's gonna be okay. Made a fantastic comeback. And yeah,
You have a
I
couple,
think
2 team wipes in a row here, actually.
yeah. So it was actually really funny actually. So what happened was we had just gotten all killed. Then IPA said something like, "Oh, like I'm so behind," and then we took a fight literally right after we all rezzed, and he got a rampage.
Oh,
We were like, okay, well, I guess you're not that far behind. And yeah, that's like what kind of started the spiral back. But yeah, no, I don't know. I was surprised that we had that hard of a time. I think we kind of fucked up, to be honest with you, but it's okay though. We definitely
game
course
two,
corrected for
cleaned it
game
the fuck
2.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah, you cleaned
yeah,
it the fuck up for game 2.
we stomped them really hard. Game 2, it was not really close.
Do we have
So
any thoughts from any of the other individuals on the pod? I know you guys probably didn't watch the series or anything, but just from looking at the Dota buffs, any interesting thoughts?
or even just for the team, like I know you guys have played against Crownfall, right? I think.
Did we
Uh,
play against those guys? I don't remember that.
Let me see. You guys played against. You did not play against
Oh, you
Crownfall.
didn't. Okay.
No.
Well, then never mind. Either way, if you have any thoughts on that, you can feel free to chime in. If not, we can
Let's
move
see
on.
Let's see. What game did y'all lose? Is this the one?
They lost
We
neither
we
game.
two
They 2-0'd.
we 2-0, but the first game was really close because we were against a
Yeah.
tiny.
Yeah, Juggernaut popped off. Looks like Juggernaut's not bad. I mean, I feel like if you can ult the tiny, you know, he'll probably still die. But just like anybody else that doesn't have a way to get out of Jugger ulti. But let me see. Did they build any Lotus orbs?
No, I don't think so.
No Lotus orbs against Juggernaut. I mean, that's
Yeah, no Lotus Orbs, but there are 3 Yule Scepters.
No Lincolns either against
Lincoln's
Juggernaut.
doesn't work. Lincoln's
Weekends
doesn't work.
doesn't cancel.
Oh, that's right. It's only Lotus. Yeah.
I will say though, even though he didn't die very much, so it doesn't show that much, but the armor nerf on Tiny like really hurts. In games where you're against like mostly magic damage lineups, like it's not going to matter at all, and that's why I think the hero's still pickable. But in games where you're Tiny and you're relying entirely on the natural armor that you get from Grow to like stave off physical damage, like those games don't exist anymore. Like you have to like buy an AC to get armor, and at this point for Tiny, like you want your SMY, you want your shard, you don't really like to buy BKB, you really want your Revenant's Brooch. Like your AC isn't fitting in the build particularly well. So I actually think that the traditional like, oh, they have a lot of physical damage, pick Tiny, he gets like 40 armor anyway. Like you can't really rely on that anymore. And Juggernaut's like a really good hero to capitalize on that because of the Omni Slash.
Especially against the Weaver, I will say that too, because the Weaver bugs already
Oh
reduces your
yeah,
armor.
like
So if you combine
you
that
get
with the Jug, yeah, it's a lot of physical damage that he'll just eat right off the
and
Omni, right? So
and with Tiny, like you have so few hits that you have to like conserve them, and like wasting them like what is it, like 6 hits with the talent or something to get rid of the bugs?
yeah,
Like
it's a lot.
yeah.
It's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
lot.
dude. We totally won't ban Tiny against you anymore, bro. You convinced me.
No, fuck that hero, dude. I fucking hate that
Yeah,
hero.
honestly though,
God, man.
the bugs do sound really nice. I mean, Tiny hits slow as fuck, so I feel like you could definitely rot him with that. And yeah, the armor reduction
You
would be.
can, like, 100%. I think the Tiny really sucks for me because, like, I really like to play aggressively. But have you ever tried to play aggressively against a Tiny as Beastmaster? That shit fucking blows, dude.
Oh
You,
yeah,
like, roar
it's
this
rough.
guy and he's got, like, 2k HP. And it's like, okay,
Yeah, you can't
well,
kill
He
it. You
doesn't
can't
really
kill it.
care. Yeah.
yeah, he doesn't give a shit. So annoying, dude. Fuck me.
Danielson, have you played any carry Tiny this patch, or have you avoided the hero?
I've tried it once, I think. It does go back to what you say. It doesn't feel all too right. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think it's the same Tiny carry as before. Like, I don't know, 2, 3 years ago, that's the real Tiny carry I played.
That's
I
true, yeah.
I would say that version was a lot stronger than what it is right now.
Well, that version also had the benefit of, at least in pro meta at the time, the offlane Lycan with the wolf bite was like super meta.
Oh yeah, that was
Um,
nasty.
yeah, so like the teams were picking like Ogre Magi and Lycan and like wolf bite, bloodlust. Tiny runs in with like the silver edge. You fucking like crit someone for like 3.5k or something out of invis. Like, whew, that shit was crazy. Um, okay, so
Benny,
I believe
I think just on the interest of time, I think we could probably skip the rest of the week. I think you guys 2-0'd Grin, right? That was pretty obvious, though.
we did.
Oh, yeah, I think it was pretty obvious. I think no one really expected anything different, right?
I don't think that's entirely true. Didn't I think some people were saying that Grin could like theoretically find their footing.
Uh,
Um,
who said that?
maybe
I'll
I'm
talk to them, dude. Don't you worry. I'll talk to them. There's yeah, I just know that we've been going pretty long. I don't want to keep you guys too long. But what I did want to ask you guys though is just for the rest of the playoffs, how you guys are feeling. I know obviously you're kind of at the mercy of who we pick. Do you guys have a preference of who you want to play first round playoffs? Would you rather Savage or would you rather Skeletons, or does it not matter to you guys?
I don't think we really care. I mean, if I went and looked through the games that we played, you guys, like each team, and I could like recollect on how they went, I could give you a preference maybe. But yeah, we don't like our homework into other teams is like 30 minutes. We group up before. We might look at your profiles a little bit, think about what we're gonna do, and like think about what you guys like to do, and that's about it. I mean, so we don't really. I wouldn't say we have a preference. Like now, if you asked me and you were like, "Hey, we're gonna give you guys whatever one you want," I would go. I would go find my preference for you. But off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you.
Phoenix. A question that the world wants to ask you: who's NAP choosing?
It's above my pay grade. I'm not the
Do
captain of the map.
do you actually not know?
Uh
Or are you just being coy because you don't want to give any hints?
Who makes all the
I would
decisions over there?
say a little bit of both, probably. Like a little bit of both. It's probably gonna be like whatever IPA thinks is best. And I trust IPA. I think he's a very good drafter. I think he's really smart. Um, and I whoever he thinks is best. I don't really want to say who we're probably gonna pick. Because it's tricky, right? Because we 2-0 skeletons. Um, I wouldn't say fairly convincingly, but they were like 45-minute games each. But it was on last patch, right? And like Dota's very different now compared to last patch. So that's something to think about. Now we did play Savage. It was a 1-1. The interesting thing is that I think we beat Savage actually harder than we beat Skeletons in our game 1. So I think we stomped Savage game 1. We lost game 2, and it was like fairly close. Like I want to say like Savage definitely had the upper hand in game 2, but it was a 45-minute game. It was somewhat close. So I think it's a closer decision than people think because yeah, like we did 2-0 Skeletons last time, but it was last patch. We stomped Savage game 1. Should we pick them again? I'm not sure, but we'll definitely see. We'll definitely see what we do. I think it could go either way. So I'm definitely interested to see how that goes.
One last lightning round for the podcast. Danielsan, who's your pick for winning the season?
Us.
No,
Easy
all right,
Youngblood.
respect. Yoshi,
baby.
Good answer.
who's winning the season? Yoshi.
Honestly, I think NAP is gonna have a massive downfall here. Whether it's this week or next week, but they are not making it to the grand finals.
I'll
At
kill you in real life.
least not through upper bracket. I
I'll
think
kill
they're
you in
gonna
real
somehow fall to lower bracket and they might make it. But honestly, I've heard rumors, maybe from Benny, maybe from somebody else on Savage, but Savage has something in their back pocket that they're cooking for playoffs here.
Do we?
So yeah,
This
I've
is news
heard.
to me, bro.
I've heard. Don't
News to
worry.
Benny here. Okay, all right. Okay.
Snowman, who's winning
Remember
the
that
season
guy
and
we were
why
talking
is
about
it?
way earlier in the episode that does a lot of digging and has information on people? Yeah, that's where I got my
Yeah.
info from.
Oh,
All
I must
right,
have said
all
something
right.
that I. Oh
You
yeah,
must
I
have
did.
said
I did.
something.
I did actually tell Yoshi we were cooking something. Snowman, who's winning the season and why is it Easy Youngblood?
No, if you could see the Excel spreadsheets that Raymond Kim has been putting together, you would be so afraid.
I promise you, I would not.
You would be so afraid. You should see how much
I-
text and how many pictures are on that Excel spreadsheet. You
You
have
should
no
see. You
idea.
should see. You should
What?
see my spreadsheet, dude. It is not for the
Holy
faint of
shit.
heart.
You know what?
Wait
You
a
should
minute,
see
wait a minute,
my
wait a minute.
spreadsheet.
Okay, let's fuck off with the spreadsheets. Oh wait, so you guys also prep that much on Easy Youngblood too? Like it's like that intense?
No, it's kind of a meme. I mean, we are
Okay.
like doing a little bit more prep going into playoffs. Like we're gonna tighten up, and we're gonna try to. Our drafting is gonna improve for sure. I think you'll see. I think you're gonna see a different team come playoffs. So I think, yeah, I'm pretty confident we're gonna sweep this whole fucking thing.
Don't meme
I
about
was
spreadsheets,
already-
dude. My scouting spreadsheets for AD2L are literally so big that they actually like lag my computer out sometimes when I'm like changing stuff out, copying sheets over. So
Well,
like
listen,
my
all I'm gonna
spreadsheets are fucking
say-
thick.
All I'm gonna say is that I've never been scared of a big thing. Okay, number one. Number two. Number two. I'm a little scared because I was already a little scared of Easy Youngblood before playoffs, but you're saying it's gonna be a completely new Easy Youngblood in the playoffs, so
Be 2.0, baby.
I would say good luck to whoever we don't pick to play this week, because you're gonna have to play this new and improved Easy Youngblood, and I think you're gonna get your fucking asses fucking smacked. So
Yes, sir.
all right, fair enough.
Phoenix, who's winning Conqueror and why is it Conqueror bye week?
I think the problem is that we're obviously all gonna pick our own teams. Let me instead say this. I think that the finals, or the top 3 that everyone I think wants and or expects, I think is probably going to be NAP, Easy Youngblood, and Savage. I think that Skeletons does have a chance, for sure. Like I think they are a good team. I think they could sneak into top 3. But I think that the 3 teams we have in attendance here is probably going to be the top 3. I think the finals I want to see personally is NAP against Easy Youngblood. I think Easy Youngblood's the best team I've played against personally. I think our series was really good. I think we got outclassed in the second game, but I did have the packet loss issue, so I will give that caveat. But I do think that that's the most dominant team I've played against that's not myself. So
Don't
I
speak
would
for me,
say
Phoenix. I am not voting my own team to win. Personally, I think that Grinsight's going to win the whole series. Rest of the
okay.
season.
You're fucking,
Actually true.
You're actually trolled. All right, got it.
I've heard they're cooking.
They're cooking, all right. Okay.
They're
all
they're
right.
Speaking
switching.
of cooking, thanks
They're switching up
so
positions.
much. Shut up, Yoshi. Speaking of cooking, thanks so much for joining us tonight, Danielsan and Snowman. Do you have any final comments before we close the pod?
Yeah, I was legend 3 months ago, guys.
And they're not beating the allegations. That's it.
No. We're
Not
not
even
beating the allegations, folks.
Okay, listen, guys. If Snowman can get from legend to immortal, so can you.
So
you know
can
what?
you.
So can you.
save those
So
double
just-
down tokens.
This podcast is sponsored by, what the fuck is that company that makes gamer chairs? Secret Labs?
Jesus Christ. Anything
Galaxy
from you,
Racer gamer
Danielson?
chairs, bro.
Anything from
No,
you? Last word.
He's legit, actually. Like that week, he was grinding out these games, and somebody said, "Yeah, Snowman is immortal." And I didn't believe it. I had to go on and check myself. This guy has the immortal badge, and last I checked, he was Divine 1. So yeah, he's been going crazy.
He's a god, dude. He's a god amongst men.
It's just the Jakiro spam, dude. So
I'm
many
gonna call
Jakiro
you.
dubs.
I'm only gonna refer to you as that fucking Snowman from Frozen. What's the Olaf, dude? That's I want you to change your
Snowman
Steam
from
name to
Frozen.
Olaf. I want you to be referred only to as Olaf now, not Snowman, dude. Come on.
All right.
Okay, there we go. I got him, dude. I got him.
I have a video I'm gonna post in Conch chat related to Olaf the Snowman.
All right. Well.
All right. Well,
yeah.
on that note, thanks everyone for joining. I appreciate that. I was really excited to have both you guys from Easy Youngblood. I think I think everyone's been really interested to hear from you guys. So I'm really glad you guys joined. Appreciate that, and have a good night, guys. Everyone.
Yeah, man. Thanks for
You
having
too.
us.